talk to you about joy intelligence. What is joy intelligence? And frankly, how many of you can really identify with joy right now? In your lives, the craziness that April is. Allison and I have been talking about how crazy April is here on campus. In the world, things are pretty challenging. And when I was first introduced to the idea of joy as a core life skill by the organization that I'm connected with, is called Joyly, I thought, really, are you kidding me? You want me to jump on the joy bandwagon with people like Oprah and Deepak Chopra and all the big spiritual people? Bottom line is, if we don't identify, if we don't tap into and access that kernel of joy, no matter what your background is, no matter who you are, we all have that within us. And when we do that, you elevate your joy intelligence, which is a brand new type of intelligence. You all have heard of IQ, right? Intellectual intelligence. EQ, what's EQ? PQ, I gave you a hint. Positive intelligence, right? And conversational intelligence, which I'm not going to talk about at all, but if you're interested in that, if you're a psych major like I was, check out Judith Glazer's book on conversational intelligence, really helpful as you get out in the world. So when you are elevating your JQ, that means that you are using and accessing joy as this core life skill. And when you do that, you are able to, and there's really cool neuroscience, there's really cool studies about this now. When you do that, you are building resilience, positivity, creative problem solving, like Allison was talking about. And as you do that, you're elevating not only your own life and what you're doing, but everybody, the ripple effects trickle out. And as I said a minute ago, one of the things, I was not a big science person when I was here, unlike most of my friends. However, what's happened over the last 50 years, but even less than that, is that there's now really powerful neuroscience research that shows what a focus on positivity, on joy, what that does to your brain-heart connection. There are organizations that really study that. So what I'm going to show you today is a particular tool that we use at Joyly. It's kind of a foundational piece when we go into organizations, hospitals, corporations, schools, and want to give just a super simple way to elevate your JQ. You want to make joy, especially in the environment that we live in daily, but also in the bigger world, you want to make joy a habit. And I have a very dear friend who has, she's now in her 4th year with pancreatic cancer, and she does this technique that I'm going to share with you every day, because especially when she's dipping, and it takes some discipline to do that. So I'm hoping that this simple 4-step exercise, meditation, experience, whatever you want to call it, is something that you will take with you. And just remember, whether you do it every day or not, it's something that you can share easily with other people as well. So it is called the Chair of Joy Experience. It's 4 steps. Sit, breathe, think, feel. On your way out, when you get your roses, I'm not going to give it to you now, because then you'd be looking at it and figuring out what you're going to fill in, and all the left brain would be, tapping in. You're going to pick up a worksheet like this, and you can record some of the things I'll be talking about, but I'm not really going to be talking too much more, because I want you to experience this. So I'm going to invite you all to just take a moment, settle into your seats. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. I'm going to settle into my own chair. And if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, just kind of lower them. Whatever feels comfortable for you. And in this moment of sitting, and there's separate, wonderful research that just talks about what it means to take a moment of mindfulness, to just sit. And as you sit in your chair in this room, surrounded by the people that are so important to you, conjure up, let bubble up in your imagination a special chair, an actual chair in your life that is just a place where you relish sitting in. It literally could be a beach chair. It could be a chair, your favorite chair to read in at home. It could be a rocking chair that your parents rocked you in. It could be sitting under a tree. That's always one of my favorite chairs. But find yourself in your imagination, in your mind's eye, in a special chair. And really create that experience of safety, of calm, of home that you feel in that chair. And then the next step is just to breathe. And let's entrain our breath. Let's bring our breath in sync with each other for a few. So inhaling together and exhaling. Feeling yourself dropping down into where that spark of joy resides. Inhaling again. And exhaling. Inhaling a third time together. And exhaling. Continue to breathe, please. And now, I'm going to invite you to have another memory moment bubble up. This time, a moment of joy. Just whatever comes into your mind. It could have been something that happened this morning, last week, in your childhood. Don't question what comes up. You could do this every day and a different one will come up if you bid it to, if you invite it to. And once that memory, that moment, bubbles up for you, recreate it in your imagination, in your mind's eye. Bring yourself back to that time, that place. Were you alone? Were you with someone? Activate all your senses. What do you see? Who do you see? Are you eating? What do you taste? What do you smell? What do you hear? And just recreate that moment of joy. Just quietly within yourself. Let yourself feel it viscerally again. And as you do, here's the feel part. Begin to identify the feelings that accompanied that moment of joy. The feelings sort of under that umbrella of joy. Is it gratitude? Is it calm? Is it awe? But just again, see if you can identify, and maybe it's just one overriding feeling in that moment that comes back to you. And imagine those feelings or that feeling literally pooling at your feet. You're standing in all these feelings associated with that moment of joy and wiggling your toes. Bring those feelings up. Bring all those joyful feelings from that memory up through your feet, your ankles, your legs, up through your torso, up through your whole body and out literally through the top of your head like a fountain, so that you are surrounded, encased, enveloped in those feelings from that moment of joy. And revel in that for a moment. Revel in that memory, in those feelings. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes slowly and come back to our space. And I'm going to ask if there's anyone courageous enough to share your moment, or maybe share your chair, if that feels like fun. And I have a little prize for you if you do. Oh, good. If you got a runner. Oh, she's ready. I love it. Okay. I don't know that these will... So what I have are my little joy stars. You know those little stress balls, only it's in the shape of a star? This is all about reducing stress, remember? All right. I'm going to see if this gets to you. If not, are we ready? Okay. I got it to you. So tell us your name and tell us your moment.
My name's Madeline, and my moment was actually one that that I spent with all of my friends in one of my first years, all hanging out together in the Prospect Common Room.
What feelings came up for you with that?
It felt like belonging, like having a group of like community, just being able to be truly authentically myself and not being afraid, and just those warm, fuzzy feelings of having a really great group of friends.
I love that. Thank you, thank you. Perfect for this space. All right. This is someone who, you got it. Don't say, sir, I'm the one with the star. Okay. These stars, by the way,
they're adorable.
aren't they sweet? And if you look at them, depending on which granddaughter wrote on it, have sit, breathe, think, feel on it.
Yeah, it says sit, joy, feel, breathe, think. Yeah.
Tell us your name.
My name's Max. My memory is very similar, except it comes from another tradition that we have. My memory was of Pangy Day, and when we were holding the chickens by Prospect, because it was the first time I held a chicken, and all of my friends were laughing at me, and I had never been a part of a group that had been so happy. Like, I've never seen so many women and people in such a joyful manner. Yeah, that was the first thing that came to me.
Thank you, Max. Oh wait, we gotta get to the other, anybody over here? We gotta get to the other side of the room. Sorry? No? Okay. Whoa, I don't know if I can throw that far. Wait a minute. Wait. Sadie, why don't you bring it back so we don't have... Okay. We'll do this one and one more. And would you stand up so we can see who's talking? Consider this one of your first opportunities for public speaking.
Hello, my name is Andy. I use she, her pronouns. And my memory is like in high school, driving on the freeway with my dad and having the windows down, music blasting, and being able to sing as loud as I want because you can't hear anything. And just being so joyful to share that moment with my dad and be able to sing as loud as I want. It was amazing.
That's lovely. Thank you.
Cool.
All right. I don't know. This side is pretty quiet. All right, we're going to go back over here. Okay. You're getting your exercise, Sadie.
Hi, my name is Jen, and I want to describe my chair first because if anyone knows anything about me, I spend a lot of time in Pratt, and so my chair was just one of the chairs in Pratt, just sitting in the middle of McCulloch. So that's what my chair was. But my moment was actually not related to music at all, but it was the first time that I got first place at a dance competition, and the feelings that kind of came with that was just like shock, but like a good shock. It's like I didn't expect that to happen, and like, it was just an awesome feeling because all of the time that I spent working towards and put into the solo, and especially I won with one of my favorite solos ever. I was wearing a yellow costume, and yellow's my favorite color, and the song was Brighter Than the Sun. I'm like, if there was ever a moment for it to feel right for me, and it was my last competition of the season, my senior year, my last competition that I ever did. And so it just kind of feel like everything fell into place, and it was like a very satisfactory win because it was the perfect close to my dance career.
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you. And just so you know, yellow, orange, some of the ways that you could create this habit, yes, is doing a chair of joy, which I've loved these so that they really take you deep for 15 minutes. But you saw that we did this in like 5 minutes. And regardless of the state of mind that you're in, it can be a real uplifter. And having said that, it's also, I was really surprised when I did this at one point now, maybe almost a year ago, that the moment that came up was being in the parking lot of the hospice where my 21-year-old nephew was dying in 2021. And I thought, ugh, what? what could possibly be joyful about that moment? And he died several days later. But we were all gathered as a family to support each other and to support him. I came to call that poignant joy. So joy isn't just happy, happy, rah, rah. It's really acknowledging the full range of emotions. And one of the things that we've done, and it's going to be out there soon at Joyly, is we've created this really comprehensive emotions map to help you define and articulate what some of these sometimes very complex emotions are. And so I invite you to I invite you to really embrace joy as being a multifaceted thing, and something that with intention you can use, you can access, because it's within all of us all the time whenever you need it. I will also say, and I'm not going to do it tonight because we don't have time, but you'll see in the handout, one of the other ways that you can use the chair of joy is more, and this is really where you all are at, is as a visioning exercise. So rather than think of a moment of joy in the past, create a moment of joy coming up for you, and really make it. And there again, neuroscience around the whole process of visualization here. As you think it, that's how you begin to materialize it in the real world, to manifest it. So what's a joyful moment you want to manifest in the next several years? You can think of some obvious ones like graduation and finishing your senior thesis, whatever it is. But use this in all kinds of ways, whether you're feeling, and probably the time to use the chair of joy is not always the time when it's easiest to do it, when you're feeling good. And there is a distinction between joy and happiness. And when you start to look at the studies, if you Google studies about joy and happiness, they're kind of interchangeable, but they're not really. Happiness is from external circumstances. You get happy because something happens around you. When you internalize it, that's when it becomes, and you internalize it more and more, that's when you begin to really reactivate that joy spark within. So thank you for playing with me this way, and please come up, let me know any other moments of joy you want to share, and go play with the chair of joy when you can. Thanks so much.